Hello and welcome to Express Drives. Today I have a car which is very futuristic, but yet it looks very familiar. This is the Audi Q8 E-Tron. Yes, it's electric, and yes, it still has the legendary Audi Quattro system, which means it's four-wheel drive, but it has two electric motors powering it. Now, what's different from this Q8 E-Tron compared to the one that was there earlier is that, yes, there's some cosmetic changes, but I think the biggest change is that they have increased the size of the battery pack by smartly packaging a few more cells. So now it has a 114 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for an estimated range for about 600 kilometers. Now, when you're talking 600 kilometers, this is real world driving range, and this is probably a game changer because now it can compete with internal combustion engine cars, and that's why I said this is the future. So who is the Audi Q8 E-Tron for? I mean, like the legendary Q series of SUVs that Audi has, this also caters to an audience that wants something sporty. It comes in two variants. What we have here is the Audi Q8 E-Tron Sportback, which means it has a coupe-like design sloping to the rear. So it looks a lot like a mix between a sedan and, of course, an SUV. It has that raised stance of an SUV. Yes, it comes with air suspension. The standard ground clearance is 176 millimeters, but if you raise the suspension, you can actually go up another 50 millimeters for when you're using off-road driving, or for sporty driving on the highway you can actually lower it by another 13 millimeters, so that much of range of travel in the air suspension. The car rides on massive alloy wheels. Speaking a little bit about the styling, at the rear you have this complete connected tail lamp, LED tail lamp assembly here, with a couple of elements in the bumper as well with the rear fogs, and it just looks very sleek. Now, this is a very trendy design element. You'll see it across a lot of cars, but what's even more interesting is the headlamps of the Q8 E-Tron. These are Audi's matrix headlamps, and the interesting thing is you can actually, they're projectors, matrix projectors, so you can actually project various designs on the wall in front of you. It's all a little gimmicky. You also have the LED DRLs up here, and you have an LED strip over here which actually highlights the logo. Audi has gone for a flat logo. Earlier you had the chrome elements stuck on, but this time it's all flat, but still it looks like it's kind of floating out of the grille because it's backlit. Now, all this in the name of luxury. I mean, people do a lot of things, and this is one of those elements. What's interesting is the charging ports. Now, this has two charging ports on either side, and it comes with two chargers. There's 11 kilowatt and a 22 kilowatt charger. If you want to plug it in, say you pulled up to the left side and you want to plug in the charger, you just press this, drops down, and you can charge of speeds with up to 170 kilowatt. So fast charging, it supports up to 170 kilowatt. Speaking about the competition, the Audi Q8 E-Tron has two main rivals really, the Jaguar I-Pace and the Mercedes EQC, both of which again are electric, and yes, this is right up there. Step into the Audi Q8 E-Tron, and this is where things get a little interesting. Of course, being electric, everything in this car is electric. When I hit the start button, the seat adjusts to my driving position, and it's got different memory settings over here, so I can always adjust it if there are a couple of people driving the car. It's got screens all around. You have one screen here for the infotainment, one panel here for the climate control, and this over here can flip into various different styles as you want it. You can customize how the screen looks. The two paddle shifters you have over here, unlike an ICE car, these are not for gears. These alter the level of regen. You have 3 levels of regen. In fact, on level 3 you can actually resort to single pedal driving because the regen is pretty sharp. Like I said, it has a claim range of 600 kilometers, which means real world driving you can do 450, 480 very easily with the Q8 E-Tron. Looking at some of the features, the gear shifter on the Audi is pretty unconventional. Park is a button on the side, and if you want to shift into drive mode, you just do this and it says start vehicle. The vehicle is on, it's ready to move. And being an electric, obviously there's no car, no sound. D, once more, sport, and then you can switch into different drive modes. From here you have comfort, you have auto, dynamic, individual. So there's 7 different driving modes that you can set. Now, that's quite a lot to take in. Of course, standard creature comforts, you have 4-zone climate control, so all the people sitting in the car can choose individual temperatures. You have this lovely panoramic sunroof for when you want to get some wind in your hair, and yes, pretty much everything you can ask for. Yes, of course, a few things that the Q8 E-Tron doesn't have, like ADAS. Audi still hasn't offered ADAS in this. Neither does it have adaptive cruise control. It's got only the standard cruise control on this. These are some things that you get in a lot of even budget vehicles these days. So the reason Audi says it's not offering ADAS yet is because Indian driving conditions are very different. The rear seat of the Audi Q8 E-Tron, with the driver's seat adjusted for my driving position, you have fairly decent leg room. You'd notice that the floor is slightly raised because yes, the battery pack is packed under the floor, so the floor area is slightly limited. Headroom in the Sportback version is just about adequate, as you can see. I mean, I'm 5 foot 8 inch, so it's okay for me. Taller people might probably prefer the SUV body style because that's got a higher roofline. This one, it slopes down over here. That said, you get an armrest with individual cup holders. You have automatic climate control over here with individual temperature adjustments for both the left and the right passenger. You have a sun blind over here, pull-up sun blind, vents in the pillars as well. Fairly comfortable seating position, under thigh support is good. So yeah, it is a comfortable place to be in. Ideally, it's still a 4-seater because the 5th passenger won't really find himself or herself to be really comfortable sitting in the middle because the seat squab is limited and legroom is really limited over here. Let me show you the frunk or the bonnet of the Q8 E-Tron. You have hydraulic assisted opening, and there's not much you can really do over here because you have the inverter and all electric connections. But what's interesting is this. This is the storage box for your 11 kilowatt hour onboard charger. This is the charger, and this is the charger gun. See, this plugs in. That's the frunk. The only thing you can really do in here is add wiper fluid, washer fluid. That's it. There's nothing else you can really do in the frunk of the Audi Q8 E-Tron. So just to show you the difference between the two Audi Q8 E-Trons, this is the Sportback and this is the SUV. How are they different? Just in the roofline. This one has a sloping roofline which comes down like this. This one, the roofline is a little more upright and you have a squarish quarter glass over here. Boot space on both is more or less the same. 660 liters of boot space in both the SUV style as well as the Sportback style. So that is the key difference between the two. The thing is, in this you will get a little more headroom, which I will show you just now. So this is the SUV variant of the Q8 E-Tron, and as you can see, the leg space, under thigh support, all that is more or less the same as the Sportback. But what is different is in the headroom. I get far more headroom over here and it feels a little more airy because you don't have the roofline coming down like this, and you have this quarter glass over here which is much larger than in the Sportback. So that's the key difference between the Sportback and the SUV variant of the Audi Q8 E-Tron. I'm driving the Audi Q8 E-Tron down from Nandi Hills, and the steering is pretty well weighted. You get a nice little heft to the steering, feels quite sporty, and that's what I like about this car. It may be an electric car, but you really don't miss internal combustion engines when you're driving the E-Tron. Then you get multiple drive modes. There are 7 different drive modes which alter the suspension settings, the steering settings, and the way the car picks up. It's a dual motor. It puts out 408 bhp and about 640 Nm of torque combined with the 114 kilowatt battery, with a claimed range of 600 kilometers. But right now it is fully charged, but it's showing me a range of about 400 and odd kilometers right now. Like all electric cars, what's interesting about the E-Tron is the way it picks up. I mean, the torque comes on instantly. Just watch this. If I want to go, if I want to overtake somebody, just stomp on it and whoa, you get pushed back in your seat and it just flies with it. So after driving the Audi Q8 E-Tron around for a bit, what's my opinion on who should be the customer for a Q8 E-Tron? Now, the Q8 E-Tron, like I mentioned, competes with the Mercedes EQC and the Jaguar I-Pace. It comes in 2 versions, the Sportback version, which I'm driving right now, which has a sloping roofline, and the SUV version, which has a higher roofline at the rear. Drag coefficient also changes because of the design. This one has a 0.24 drag coefficient, and the SUV has a 0.27 drag coefficient. That's it. So who's the buyer for this? Somebody who wants one car for all purposes and wants to obviously go green. They can pick up the Q8 E-Tron because you can drive to office, you can head out also because it has a decent range, and like I said, it has multiple charging options, 11 kilowatt, 22 kilowatt, going up to 170 kilowatt as well if you have a DC fast charger. So you can get a full charge with a fast charger in under 41 minutes. Otherwise, with the standard charger, it's 8.5 hours or overnight. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Audi Q8 E-Tron. A fun to drive, electric, luxury SUV, also a Sportback. That said, so the prices of the Audi Q8 E-Tron are not out yet. It'll be out on the 18th of August. The earlier car cost about 1.25 crores on road. This one, because it has a bigger battery capacity and a few additional styling changes, I think it would be a slightly more expensive variant. So, what do I finally think about the Audi Q8 E-Tron? I think it is a good one car for all purposes for someone who wants to go green and wants a luxury electric vehicle. Stay tuned to Express Drives. Do like, share and subscribe to this video as well. Thanks for watching.